All right, guys, welcome back. We have a special guest today. He not only, you know him as the Cerbinator, and he makes the awesome wings for Foxbodies, New Edges, S550s now, the two, right?
We now have everything 79 to 2022.
Okay. And some trucks as well, too.
Yep.
All right. And he also makes the bolt kits for your engine bay, which make it look so much better. But that is just his side gig. His day-to-day job, he works for Ridetech. And you guys probably saw from last weekend at Holly Ford Fest, they debuted their new suspension. So we're going to talk to Matt. He is one of the engineers on the project. And Matt, I have to ask you a question. Did you get the job at Ridetech because of your Foxbody knowledge, or was that just a bonus for them?
It was part of it. So, first off, thank you for having me on here tonight. The actual R&D manager knew me before. He's a Foxbody owner.
Okay.
When I had been going through and doing my version of the cup holder center console,
Okay.
that was being worked on, I had reached out to him and gone back and forth on some stuff, and then ended up sending him a spoiler at that point.
Okay.
Ended up being, long story short, he put up a post. They were looking for someone while the COVID lockdown was going on, and I had just finished school, was on very, very short notice, just moved back by my family in Illinois, and was trying to figure out my first job out of school.
Okay.
So it kind of, a lot of coincidences lined up, and they already knew that they were wanting to do this project, and it just, right time, right place, I guess.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. Well, that's cool. So I guess let's just jump right into it. How long have you guys been designing and working on this?
So when I first started Ridetech, it was November of 2020.
Okay.
I started up doing some coil spring arms. They've already been released, first and second gen Camaro C10 coil spring arms, where they've got an inch of ride height drop built into them. That was what I started on, and did some other miscellaneous stuff around there, just learning what I can every day as much as I can. And then it was midsummer last year.
Okay.
I got started.
So you guys have moved along pretty quick with it then. I mean, to make from design to a functional prototype, or I guess it's almost ready for manufacturing now, right?
It's very close to being ready.
Okay.
This is where I don't know how much I can.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. If there's something you can't say, just say I can't say it. That's cool.
You're good. But we always take and go through and do practice trial runs and stuff on parts, and as we go through, make changes, updates, we get it ready for final production. We're nearing final steps. I can't say where we are at.
Okay.
So what you saw at Holly Ford Fest was not a final version.
Okay.
But we're getting there. And like what's been said already is end of the year is what we're looking at for it being out.
That's cool. I mean, I know there's a lot of people excited about it. So if you guys haven't seen it, I'll put a picture right here on the screen. Why don't you just break it down? What is different between the stock suspension and this suspension?
The biggest thing when you go and open the hood, the first thing you'll notice is it's an empty strut tower with no caster camber plate. So your stock style suspension will run a strut and spindle off your lower control arm that goes up to your strut tower. And that's what our cars have been known for since the day they left the assembly line.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest weakness with that, however, is lack of camber gain, which means you have less contact patch when the front end is under load in the middle of a corner under braking and whatnot. So the purpose of going to an SLA or a short and long arm configuration is you get that camber gain that the car needs to keep that tire in contact with the ground when you're trying to get it around the corner as fast as possible.
Yeah, so essentially, it's basically as it moves up, it gives you more camber and gives you more contact on the road. Okay.
Correct.
Perfect. So, I guess they're billet arms. Is the bottom one billet as well? I wasn't there to see it in person, but.
So it's an upper and lower arm configuration. The upper is a billet. The lower is tubular, like most of our regular stuff is.
Okay. That's all. Does it bolt directly into a stock car?
Yes. So the way it works, you can kind of see from some of the pictures and stuff that have been floating around, and some pictures I've even put up, is it has a sheet metal bracket that basically wraps the frame and then uses the existing K-member bolt holes.
Okay.
And you includes that clamshell in with the K-member mount when you bolt it together. It basically spaces down the K-member, the thickness of the material, and then takes and has the upper arm mount off of that bracketry.
Okay.
So that goes in, uses existing bolt holes. The pinch weld, we all know, sticks off of that frame rail right there.
Mm-hmm.
Just gets bent down, slides on, bolts through, and it goes right up. And then we have the existing spacer that goes over the back of the K-member, just so everything's sitting where it needs to be.
Awesome. I'm trying to think. I need to look at a picture for my next question. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up a picture here. Who sent? I know. Trying to think who sent me the picture first when they first got there. I know Jess the Mess sent me some video from it when he got to see the car. That's the rear. Here we go. So it's a completely new sway bar setup as well, right?
Yep. So you can actually still use your stock sway bar with this configuration too.
Okay. What kind of is it? Like when you buy it, you get spindle. Does it come with brakes, or do you have to use a certain kind of brakes, or?
Basically, you select which brake option you plan to run.
Okay.
And then we don't usually carry brakes. We have, so like our early Mustang kits, for example, you can go and choose a Willwood kit that we offer on the website.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. Otherwise, the kit, you will choose which brake option you're going to run. And it's an adapter bracket that bolts to the spindle that allows you to either direct bolt on a S550 caliper or a SN95 caliper.
Okay.
So anything that fits either of those two spindles would directly bolt onto our spindle.
Okay. What about ride height? How adjustable? I mean, is it like we put it on? Is it going to be setting at stock ride height, or is it going to be lower?
So if you pull up a picture of my 86,
Mm-hmm.
I've been driving around on that for the past several months.
Okay.
And then you have some adjustment in height. I think it's typically like plus or minus an inch. I'm on the low end of it. I'm not right at the middle. So there's still adjustment and whatnot, and we provide some specs when you get the install kit anyway.
Okay.
And all that stuff gets covered.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, obviously, I like my cars low anyway, so that's.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh.
I'm trying to think of. I should have written my questions down. Oh, could you? I guess you could possibly cut the shock towers out with running the suspension.
Yes, you could.
I thought about that. 'Cause, I mean, if you want to get a crazy like big block or something in there,
Yep.
that'd make it a lot easier.
Really, as long as you can get your K-member bolts through there on the frame rail and get everything snug, tight, whatever room you need outside of that, you can take and cut away.
Oh man. So K-member, I guess you can run stock K-member, tubular K-member. I guess there's is there options?
So you will be able to run either stock K member. From the factory, there were two different ones.
Mm-hmm.
The early K member, which later became a 4-cylinder K member only, and then the 88 and up 5.0 K member. You can either of those work fine with it, and that's actually what we designed it to work with primarily, and then some aftermarket K members that we'll work with.
Okay.
We've done testing with both.
Okay. Awesome. Which one seems to be the strongest? Is the stock K member stronger than the tubular ones? Or have you guys even tested that?
It depends on which ones, because some are purpose-built to be lightweight for drag racing.
Yep.
Some are built for road racing and all that. Really, it's kind of whatever way you're trying to go with the car is what most people are putting those K members in anyway.
Okay.
As far as stock K member goes, really the only thing you have to do is the top spring perch to put that in is make sure there's a hole cut large enough for the shock mount to come in off of that frame surround, and it bolts right up.
Okay. I'm trying to remember what stock K member looks like. I hadn't seen one in a while. Yeah.
The early K member, which was the later 4-cylinder one, had an open hole at the top of the perch with some tabs coming around.
Mm-hmm.
The late V8 K member had 2 layers of sheet metal, and it was a closed top.
Okay. So pretty easy to cut out that one for sure if it's just sheet metal. All right. And then what about the rear suspension you guys had in this car? Is that going to be end of the year too, or is that going to be a little bit later? Or do you even know yet? I'm not going to put you on the spot. Just.
No, you're good. We're trying, but it's still in an early phase. We've been out testing and haven't been out with it. It's more of getting the production side ready and everything else, and we'll find what other changes we want to make with it.
Mm-hmm.
We're extremely happy with what we have for the rear and how it drives. So it's a matter of those other details getting sorted out and going from there. But you will see both kits next year, though, without a doubt.
Okay. Do you have to change rear ends, or will this stuff work on an 8.8?
So the rear kit works for both 8.8 or 9-inch.
Okay.
The 8.8 housing, you will have to remove the lower arm factory mounts, and then our mounts weld to the axle tubes.
Okay.
And then we have our own upper mount tabs that weld onto it as well.
Okay. But will you guys be, well, I don't know if you'll know this or not, like be offering like a full, like buy the whole rear end, everything, and just bolt it in? Will that be an option? Or do you know?
We offer that for some of our existing kits, especially first-gen Camaro.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know what the plans are for this one just yet, and so that will be kind of as we get options sorted, it might go that way.
Okay.
But we do offer that for some of our other kits.
Okay. Well, you have to for the Camaro because you breathe on it and the rear end brakes. So, so you got to put that forward. You got to put that forward rear end in it. Oh man. Oh man, this has been a lot of information. Trying to make sure I've got everything. Are the coilovers? I'm sure your guys' coilovers are adjustable.
David, we take and have a single adjustable,
Okay.
and we have a full adjustable for our 2 shock options. Basically, so I know on my car, you can either go 12 clicks soft, 12 clicks stiff on it. And with the Fox factory shocks, it's a drastic difference in where you get room for adjustment. The ride quality and everything else with it. My car only has the front kit on it.
Okay.
And it doesn't box anymore, even with just the...
Yeah, it's a completely different car.
Yeah. Between you lose all the strut tower noise and everything that our cars are notorious for, the way the overall movement of the car is because of the weight on the strut towers, all of that. feel it's way more connected. You have so much better feel at the steering wheel. It's totally different.
Oh man, that's so awesome. What about like the stance of it or the offset? Does it change your offset any or push your wheels out?
Factory track wheels.
Factory track. Okay. Awesome. Y'all are checking all the boxes.
We had a long checklist. We knew we had to make sure we did to do this the right way, and there's been a lot of time into going to do the homework to make sure this is done right for these guys. We did note that some K members have different lower arm pivots as far as distance, hole to hole.
Mm-hmm.
So any variation in track width comes down to the K member that is running the vehicle. The actual arms that are in the kit are designed to stock track width. So with a stock K member, it is at the exact same position.
That is awesome. So, it's just, you know. Do you have to run a bump steer kit, or can you run like stock?
If you run a stock K member, you do not.
Okay.
It's designed around being able to have a stock K member, a stock tie rod end, stock steering rack. If you want to go crazy in track with all that, you can take an upgrade and go to a bump steer kit, and it'll get you that hair more optimized to get everything where you want it.
Mm-hmm.
Aftermarket K members, you will have to run a bump steer kit, and again, like how we provide alignment specs and whatnot with our kits, we provide a list of per K member where the tie rod spacers need to be.
Awesome. So you guys have pretty much covered, like I said, you checked all the boxes and tried to make it as good as possible. Is the I was looking at the sway bar. Does it bolt in the stock sway bar position?
It does. So what was on the car for the front sway bar is still in the works, still in development. That wasn't the final version. What we do for our current sway bar uses an adapter bracket that spaces the pivot of the bar down.
Okay.
In place of how the factory had those sheet metal brackets that space the bar down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it needs to be with our bushings and what will be our billet clamps that hold the bar in place. So it puts it in the exact same position, but we use an adapter block that goes in and puts them in the same spot, and then it goes to the existing factory mounting hole on the frame rail, those little brackets.
Is it a bigger sway bar than factory, or stiffer, or?
So rates are not settled at this time.
Okay.
I don't have information I can provide on that.
Okay.
But we're looking at, it should be something where it could be, you should be able to have a couple 100 pounds difference in rates that you'd be able to select from and find what's perfect for your setup and what your car is running and what track you're at, or not just cruising down the street.
So it's really just tunable, way more tunable than the stock equipped thing. So I think that's about it. I'm just scrolling through and think if I can see if I can think of any more questions. I mean, it all looks really cool. I think I'd asked you this before. Will you be able to run tailpipes with the rear suspension? Are you guys trying to do that, or?
So in the process of the design, we did draw it up and everything. I took and went through and made sure that the tailpipes will actually run under the panhard bar.
Okay.
The axle. So you can see if there's pictures out there of our other rear four-link kits, especially like I believe early Mustang requires it with the air ride kit, is you run the tailpipes underneath the axle.
Okay.
Up to the normal position.
Yeah. I always like tailpipes because it gives you a better cam sound. for sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's I guess that's all I've got about the suspension. I do see a is that a 3-piece wing I see in the background there?
It's an early version of it, but yeah.
Okay. When is that going to be available, or do you even know that yet? We're going from Ridetech to Cerbinator now. He's got to change shirts real quick.
Go around upstairs shape quick.
Yeah.
So my goal, I'm trying to have that by early spring.
Okay.
I'm kind of just part of what I'm working on. Hopefully, during Oktoberfest weekend, is going to go talk with the carbon shop that I've already been in talks with, as far as preparing stuff for molds and whatnot, and where we need to be bodywork wise. So we're at the point of making final fitment checks right now on our 3D printed parts. We're down to changing stuff down to like 1/16 of an inch.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of just closing up how things fit for the 3 parts to each other, down to like the lock hole, making sure that's sealed off so you can't see daylight through it. And we're not too far off. So I'm hoping I can have it in the process of having molds made over the holidays, over winter, and then hopefully we can be up and running by springtime.
That's awesome. I can't wait for that. Especially, I got a big chunk mix or a big crack in my 85 wing now, so.
I can't wait. My car, the way the stock original one fit from the factory is horrible.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I took mine off. I just didn't like it.
On the original.
Yeah. So, all right, well, Matt. Well, I appreciate you taking time to meet with us today and let us know about this exciting new stuff coming for the Foxbody. It's about time. That's all I can say. It's about time.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
It's taken the car how many years before people would start making new stuff again, and it seems like the past few years they're finally getting back in that stride of companies making parts for them again.
Yes. That's because everybody's getting old now that loves them, and they want to start changing them up.
Everyone are back.
Yeah. All right, Matt. Well, I appreciate it, and thank you guys for watching. And till next time, I'm out of here.